Everyone, we'd like to welcome you to our AMA with the GushiLand team. This is their first public AMA, and we, the Algo Gaming Guild, are honored to be the hosts. This is Dean speaking, and then I have Aaron with me as well, my co-founder. We're excited to welcome the GushiLand team. I know Marco and Lorenzo are on. So how are you guys doing today?
Hello, or should I say shalom, which is the greeting we use in GushiLand. And yes, I'm Lorenzo, nice to meet you, and here with Marco.
Hi, nice to meet you.
And we're doing pretty well, I guess. How about you?
Okay, awesome. Oh, we're doing well. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk through some of these questions today and get the community some information about your project. So I think before we get started, let's just maybe go through like a bit of an intro or a background. So can you just give an intro into exactly what GushiLand is and what the vision is for the project in the long run?
Yeah, I'm Marco. I think I will go here with this one. So GushiLand is a project that wants to create an ecosystem of games and features that will be appealing for both hardcore gamers, casual gamers, and collectors. And the baseline idea is to challenge the play-to-earn approach of previous similar NFTs project. And we want to be as accessible, as transparent as possible. And the original idea came from our three founders that are Mauro, Luca, and Umberto, that initially wanted to launch a line of collectibles based on egg-shaped characters. And then this base idea evolved into a real ecosystem of games. Our first game will be Gushi Force. And it will be based on the idea of play to build, which is a saying we use to make an opposition to the play to earn approach, as I was saying, of previous similar NFT projects. The two pillars of play to build are create an ecosystem that is sustainable long term, that allows the game to thrive and continue to evolve long term, and be accessible for every type of player. So we want to be sure that every player, experience or not, can enjoy our ecosystem.
Awesome, that sounds great. And we'll talk a bit more about the play to build aspect later on, but we loved reading everything that you guys have planned, because it definitely seems like you're creating an ecosystem that's a lot more sustainable than a lot of the blockchain games that are out there at the moment. So I think the next sort of intro question that we had was, obviously GushiLand is a super interesting name. Is there any backstory for the name or how it came about? Does it have any special meaning or anything like that?
Yeah, as Marco already said, our three founders, Marco, Umberto, and Mauro, wanted to create an ecosystem based on a game which was inspired by eggs, because Gushi is the Italian name for the egg, for the shell, the egg shell. So yeah, everything regarding the lore and the design process was around this concept. And our characters are, of course, inspired by eggs and eggshells, and also by yolk, because their elemental power is these elemental beings inside the Gushi, which are called yolki, are a sort of course, elemental power that draws from the earth of GushiLand. And also the environment is designed to be as similar as possible at all of these features based on eggs and these kind of things. So from a lore standpoint, this was our starting process.
That's great. Yeah. I was wondering what it was about. I figured it was some sort of translation, but that's great to know. So I know in your white paper, talking a bit more about the lore, you guys have a great heartwarming story between a Gushi and a Yoki. Can you just give a short run through of that story, and also how the land wave in the ecosystem sort of comes into it?
Yeah, sure. As I said, the story of our games and our ecosystem is based in this world called GushiLand, and far away and in a long time ago, there was this formless world, and then land waves started to appear and started to crumble the surface of this planet, and from these land waves. These Yolki, that as I said are like elemental beings, started to sprout from the core of the planet, and they actually found the first Gushi, and the collaboration between Gushi and Yolki started right there. So if now I can see Gushi and Yolki work together is because of this first approach a long time ago. And in the games, this thing will be reflected because, as Marco already said, we have been planned to release the first game that is called Gushi Force. And in Gushi Force, land waves are a very important aspect of the game because not only the player will be facing an opposing team with an enemy, with an adversary, but also will be facing the actual arena with land waves and such. So it will become important in the gameplay as well.
That's great. And I think they're just talking more about like the land and the area in which they all live. Can you just talk a little more about Draco Slide Island and exactly how it's designed and how the different tribes on the island fit into the ecosystem?
Sure. And GushiLand is divided in several areas, and each area has a particular climate or weather and particular environmental elements. And in these areas, there are different species of Gushi because there is a unique tribe that it's Draco Gushi. It's the first tribe of our first expansion. But this tribe is divided into different species. And the first one that we already revealed is the one of the Bulki that live in the volcano area in GushiLand. But there are also other species that we want to reveal to our public and our followers. And for this reason, during this meeting, we will reveal the second species. And all of these Gushi draw their abilities and their characteristics, both gameplay-wise and lore-wise and aesthetically-wise, from the region that they live in. So, as we already saw, the Bulki are more have a more like their shells are smooth, sinuous, and thick, and we can see them having a red-hot magma color and a yellow color based on their specific family, because we have the magmas, which are the more common ones, and the lavas, which are a bit rarer, but they still have this kind of glowing reflection of lava color. And right now, we can reveal the new species, as we already promised to our fan base. And our founder, Umberto, will now publish the reveal for this new species. And it's the rugged species. So in this particular case, we have, in this species of the rugged, we have two families, which are the Shin and the Mogano. And these two families belong to the rugged species, as I already said, and they live in the rocky peaks of Steeper Claw. So this is the name we gave to this new location, which is a cool green area where they test their skills. And why I say test their skills? Because they are the more, how can I say, like not aggressive, but willing to fight Gushis. And their shell is inspired by obsidian. And because these two families' names came from this variation of this precious stone. So the Shins are the more common ones, similar to the magma for the Bulki, and have a brighter shell, which is a sign that their fighting experience is still immature. The mogano, on the other hand, have a more menacing color, and the stones set in their shell shine brighter. And you can see in the video we already published on our account a little preview of their design. They're very interesting because you can also already make a comparison between the two families, the two species we already published, so the bulky and the rugged, and you can see that the design-wise they're like differently because some of them have horns. I mean, a lot of them have horns, but they have it in a different way. The horns of the bulky are more soft and more polished, while the ones of the rugged are more, they have scar and they have a lot of cracks because they are warriors and they like to test their skills in battles, and that's why they are designed like this. And I don't know, like let us know what you think about this new species, because we are very proud of the design. I also wanted to thank and give a highlight to our illustrator. It's called Daniele, and it's a very talented illustrator, and his work is very, in my opinion, is very, very remarkable in this way.
Yeah, the design looks amazing. So for anyone who hasn't seen it yet, we have pinned it to the top of the space, which is basically just the reveal video of the new species, as we were just talking about now. So that looks great, and I definitely agree with the fact that your illustrator is really, really good. Like, all the designs look amazing so far, and everything around your website as well. Another question, because I know so far we've had Gushi that have come from the more volcano area. We've had now Gushi that have come from the rocky area. What other areas are there on the island that we can look forward to reveals in the future?
Other areas we can look forward for the future are, one is called Dracactus. This is a little spoiler. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but it's a marsh area. And you will see the new species that will come from this area. They're also very interesting design and lore-wise. For now, I cannot spoil anything else. And there will be other areas as well, but those are even more secret than this one. So look forward to it, but for now, I can only say this.
No, that's great. Yeah, we're just trying to get some alpha, but that's great. So I know in your white paper it talks a bit about the flora and the fauna around the island, and there's an example of the hot mulden fruits. Can you just talk a little more about the flora and fauna within the ecosystem, and then is it the sort of is there anything that the Gushi specifically eats, or anything that's dangerous to them on the island?
Yes, GushiLand is, as I said, is an island with its own ecosystem, its own biology and flora and fauna, and every area of the island has its own toponomastic, its own ambience and such. And as you already introduced, there is a wide variety of flora and fauna. In regards of fauna, for now, we just revealed that Gushi are the sole inhabitants of the island, but there is some exception, because in some of the next games and next updates, we will see different creatures maybe roaming around the island. But for flora, we actually delved a little bit more, because in the Dracactus region, there are some interesting aspects regarding this concept, because we have draberries and molten fruits, which are some kind of food that is very valuable to Gushi. And this flora will be strictly connected with the new species. So I can only suggest to look forward to it, because the next species will be very, as I said, connected to this aspect of the flora. And yeah, this is it for now.
That sounds great, and we look forward to future species in the future, definitely. So just before I go on with the rest of the law section, if anyone has any questions specifically about the law or character design, you can request to come up to speaker and ask your question. I know like a lot of the questions that we had submitted beforehand are specifically regarding gameplay, which, as we noted in our announcement, we'll be having a follow-up AMA with that for that specific section and to talk through some of the development. But if anyone has any questions in regard to law, as I finished my last 2 questions on law, just request up to speaker and you can go ahead and ask the team. So I think the next question we had was just generally, and I know we've spoken a little bit about this, but can you just give like a bit more background into how the Gushi shell and the Yolki friend sort of like impacts their environment and the way they interact with it, and maybe a little bit about gameplay as well?
If we're talking about Gushi Force, the different type of Gushi, different families and different species of Gushi we have, all have different shells, because the bulky have the more sinuous and orange one, and others have more robust and thick shells. And these shells come with different abilities, because Gushi ability derives from their shell. And I'm not talking about some kind of elemental ability or things like that, because that thing comes from the Yolki. So here you can see the connection between the Gushi, which have its own ability based on the shell it has. So maybe one is more, I don't know, one is doesn't receive recoil damage, or another one is more boosts attack power and something like that. But this duality reflects the concept of body and mind, so strong and power. And so from the Yolki comes, on the other hand, the elemental power. So we don't have to see Gushi like the bulky or the rugged as elemental beings. They are like with no element inside them. But on the other hand, the Yolki give them this elemental characteristics. So I don't know, maybe a bulky Gushi can have a water Yolki. So this kind of combination are possible. And the NFT that we are releasing will both have the Gushi and the Yolki. So when the player will buy or receive its Gushi, it will also have the Yolki on its side. So they come in a single package, let's say like that.
That's right. And I think last question just on this section, when can the community expect to be able to get their hands on some of these NFTs? Like when will your marketplace be opening up, and when will be the first NFT sales?
The marketplace will come out on December 6th, and that's when you can buy our NFTs. And that in the same period, we will launch the private alpha of the game Gushi Force.
Okay, great. So is that going to be like an alpha for people who bought the NFT to specifically try out, or is it a smaller group of people?
The private alpha will be only for a small group of people, and we will share later how to access the private alpha. But anybody can buy NFTs on December 6th on our marketplace, not only the players for the private alpha.
Okay, great. That's super helpful, and we're definitely looking forward to that. So the next section we wanted to go through was just talking a bit more about your play-to-build system and how that fits into everything. So from our reading of the white paper, it's obviously very unique and interesting. It seems to include various ways to ensure that the ecosystem is sustainable. Can you just talk about like what issues or problems you guys are trying to solve with that system that other blockchain games experience, and how you feel that your play-to-build system will solve those?
Yeah, when we approached the problem of starting designing the main idea of play to build, what the 2 questions that came up were, why are players dissatisfied with other similar NFTs projects, and how we can give them a real alternative. And this is like the key element of the key basis of all the project of GushiLand that we are building it on. We want to provide our players with tools with which they can build their environment, their gaming experience, and making it really accessible for everybody. And this is what Play to Build means, like to be really capable of personalize your experience inside the game, and all we did in this regard was first to be able to grant to everybody access to our marketplace. For example, in our marketplace, you will be able to buy our NFTs in Algo themselves, or maybe use PayPal on Stripe with your own credit card. So it's really easy, really transparent, and you will get access really easily to the NFTs even if you are not in the crypto world or are not experienced with it. And in addition, you will not even need to own a personal wallet, because simply by registering in our marketplace, you will immediately have an Algorand network-based wallet, and that will be ready to accommodate any GushiLand you want to buy or acquire.
And maybe I can delve a little bit more in the main concept of the Play to Build. So as Marco explained, these are the bases that we took for granted for building the Play to Build, and as a system that is accessible, transparent, and such. But to be more to delve a little bit deeper, the main concept of the Play to Build resides in the buffed resale. So it's this concept that says that you can grow your own Gushi by using them in every game of the ecosystem, and then resell it at a higher level and a higher price that when you bought them. So in this way, the player is actually directly responsible for the value of his own NFTs. Then for the second point, we have the legendary crafting, because we thought that creature breeding, like other games have tried to implement, is a little bit boring and has brought the old Play to Build system to their knees. So we thought that we could turn this dynamic into something more exclusive. So players that will be willingly to work hard will be able to transform different kind of assets inside the game, like resources that are common, rare, or something in between, into true super limited NFTs. So like the basis of this is to transform resources into something more valuable. And this will be explained a little bit further, especially with other games that we have in plan. And for the third point, we worked on a renting system, so an enhanced renting system, because like you own different kind of Gushi, different NFTs, but you don't have actually time to play, and you want to rent your collection. So you can rent your NFTs and allow other players to use them in their matches and in the different games. So players who are willingly renting their collection will be granted with exclusive rewards and tokens. And on the other hand, this will also help the ecosystem to be more accessible, because all the players that do not own an NFT of our Gushi will be able to play by renting other players' Gushi. So in this way, they can still be curious about GushiLand and explore a little bit more about the project, and then maybe they decide to bind their own Gushi. There are also some other aspects yet to come. We still have to reveal. So Play to Build does not finish here. There's still more points to discuss, but these points are still a little bit under construction. So we'll be happy to share further advancement on this subject.
That's super great insight. Thank you very much. So I have just a few questions on some of the aspects that you discussed there. One of them is just, so the entire intention with the buffed resale is so you're going to be like building up the stats of your Gushi, and then basically the higher your stats are, the more they'll be able to sell for, right? Is the process of leveling up or increasing the stats, is that just by playing the game like Gushi Force and winning, or is it just from like experience of playing over time?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Oh, sorry. Just
because
just
the connection is a little bit shaky. Sorry.
Oh no, it's all good. So just the general idea that you'll be buffing up the stats of your Gushi, and then higher stat Gushi will be able to obviously sell for more in the marketplace. Are those stats, and I know this is getting a little bit into the gameplay aspect, but like those stats, are they increased by playing the game, by winning, or how exactly does someone go about doing that?
Oh, thank you. No, that the stats will be increasing thanks to the games. So by spending time in the different games with its own Gushi, the player can raise the statistics of the Gushi, and even if the different games can raise the stats in different ways. So not all the games raise the stats in the same way. So let's say like that. But yeah, the statistic, the stat raisement is from the games. Yeah, it's from playing.
Okay, that's great. And then another question I just had. I know in your white paper around the legendary crafting, it talks about the fact that you could redeem a super limited edition NFT. I know you probably can't reveal a lot about that at the moment, but is that NFT, is that supposed to be like a playable character in game, or is it supposed to just be like some sort of collectible, anything like that?
This is a feature that we still have to refine a little bit, but in our idea, let's say like that, lore wise, there are these land waves that can change the space and can change GushiLand. So from these land waves, artifacts will come up from the soil, and by collecting these artifacts and redeeming them and crafting them, you can obtain different objects, items, and also weapons that will be used for this crafting. And every tribe will have different materials, different special materials that can be used to, as I said, craft weapons. But these elements and these resources will be limited solely based on the number of users of our games.
Nice. That sounds super interesting. So there's three other aspects that I just wanted to talk about that I think also lead into the play to build sustainability aspect. One of them is in the white paper, it talks about rescuing Yoki for charity. And can you just talk a little bit about that, because we thought that was a really, really great mechanic to have in game.
Yeah, this is the fourth point of the play to build system, and we're still working on it. But I'm glad you brought it up, because it's a very interesting point that we would like to talk about. And the 10% of the sales from NFT will be destined to charity, and they will be distributed in form of tokens that the players will have to pick up, and we will share with charity programs. And we want to show people how to give the opportunity to be useful while gaming. And from a gameplay standpoint, and during different moments in gameplay from Gushi Force and other games, sometimes a special type of Yolki will appear, and by rescuing it, you will be able to gather these resources and this charity token that will be given to these associations and these programs. So these are that directly will be directly implemented also in the gameplay, and not solely in the lore.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. Rather than you guys just directly sort of sending the money to charity, it allows an in-game aspect that sort of makes you feel like you put some effort into getting that donation made. So that's great, and we love that idea. Two other aspects that are in the white paper that I also think are interesting in terms of ensuring your game's sustainability. One of them is the Night of the Gushi, which, like from my understanding, is basically sacrificing or burning Gushi. Can you just talk a little bit about that and like what problem you guys are trying to solve by putting that in game, and how you think it will impact the game overall?
Yeah, this feature will be implemented when we will release actually the second expansion for the Gushi, and I will explain briefly why. And when the new expansion will be out, of course we will be more common and rarer Gushi to find. So the players can how do I say, burn their Gushi in a sacrificial rite. I know that sounds like a little bit gruesome, but you can
It's okay.
You can sacrifice them to obtain a better chance to find a new rarer Gushi. So what can we do with this sacrificed Gushi? This sacrificed Gushi will become available free to play for new players that want to try the games. So the common Gushi that will be sacrificed, so only the common ones, will be taken, and they will not be NFTs anymore, but they will be stored in our databases, and they could be used for new players to build up their forces and use this just digital assets that are not NFTs. In this way, we can reduce the number of NFTs of little value, and we can give more value to the one that are still available in the marketplace. So as I said, this is a thing made for players that do not have NFTs maybe in this moment, but they are trying the game, and if they like it, they can later invest and buy other NFTs, grow them, and invest in their value.
For those common NFTs that they base, well, I guess they're not NFTs anymore, but the common Gushi that they get to use, is that literally just for them to like try out the game using them, or are they also able to like earn tokens and rewards by playing with them?
This common Gushi, this sacrificed Gushi, will be available to try the games and play like normal Gushi, but they will not level up, they will not increase in statistic. So in this way, they are not like the same as the normal Gushi, but they are there for new players to try out the games and enjoy the experience. So they not clash with the secondary market that will be available right after the release of the first expansion or the second expansion and going on.
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, that's what we wanted answered. So thank you for that. So that's all the questions we had on the play to build system and sustainability. If anyone in the audience wants to jump up and ask any questions specifically related to that section, just request to speak and we'll promote you up. I think we only have one more section, which is just talking about like the future and your roadmap a little bit. But I just we have some questions from the community, which a lot of them are gameplay, and we will move to the next AMA. But there's a few that we can probably answer, yeah. So I just wanted to get through those quickly. So like a champ in our server asked, will the terrain of Draco slide plots be customizable permanently? And will there be land sales outside Draco slide to create arenas in GushiLand?
Sorry, I will read the question from Discord so I can give you the complete answer.
Yep.
So the tiles will be personalized and customizable, but they will not be resold, and there will be some kind of customization for the various arenas, and every player will can customize like they want. So in this regard, they're free to customize them.
Okay, that's great. And then we had a question from Z Hamster who asked, will Gushis be customizable, either like their base traits or clothing or accessories, such as an in-game avatar?
Regarding traits, no, because every Gushi comes with their own unique traits. We have like 800 different traits that can be mixed up and create the unique Gushi. And from that point, the Gushi will be that with its own Yolki, with its own appearance, with its own stats that can be raised and can go down based on the play. But clothing-wise and accessories-wise, we are thinking about a skin system that can be implemented to further enhance this aspect of the customization. So from that point, yes. And there can also be the customization regarding weapons, as I said before, like from the crafting. There can be the customization of the nest in some kind of when we talk about other games from Gushi Force, there will be nest to personalize, and also an important feature will be the personalization and the customization of the player avatar, which is the Gusher. We thought about the Gusher as a sort of spiritual entity that governs and controls in a certain way the Gushi. And from a lower standpoint, this is like the godly being that controls them. But from a gameplay standpoint and from a personalization standpoint, it will be represented by a totem with different things. And they can be attached on it. We can be customizable, and more information on that later. But it will be super interesting because even design-wise, we think it's a cool choice to give some kind of room to personalization, even on such a more abstract thing.
Yeah, that sounds great. I know like customization has become very important for gamers these days, in terms of like skins for your characters, card backs. Look at like all the cosmetics in like Overwatch as an example. So it's great to hear that you guys will have different options for customization. Okay, so we just have a few more questions talking a bit about like what's to come in the future and your roadmap. If anyone has any questions they want to ask during this time, like jump up and then you can ask them. Otherwise, once we get to the end of the session, we will end the AMA. So I think the first question we just had was, what do the next 6 months look like for the game and for your team? Like, what can the community expect in terms of updates or releases over that timeline?
Yeah, the dates to remember in the near future are December 6th, as said before, when we will launch the marketplace and NFTs are available for purchase. And in the same period, we will launch the private alpha of a version of the game for a limited pool of people. And starting with 2023, we will focus on finalizing the game for its official release. This will happen approximately in the Q2 of the same year of 2023. And in Q1, we think we will launch the beta version. It will be an open beta version that will be public. And we will need the help of all our players to balancing the game dynamics, and this part will be crucial for the beta version of the game. And after that, we are starting designing new sets for the new tribes of Gushis. And we want to start working on expanding the gaming ecosystem with a new game besides Gushi Force that will be available for our players, and that will let them enjoy our NFTs in a different way than Gushi Force. And of course, you will be able to use all the NFT you bought in all our games in different ways. These are like the main days to remember, things we are looking for in the future.
I will also add that if anyone is interested in the development of the games, in our Discord channel, we actually have a dedicated channel where we have our devs that are working on the development of our games, and will be happy to answer to every question regarding the game, like even more specific answer to the, I don't know, to the generation of the arenas and things like that. So keep an eye on that, and if you are curious, you should really go there and ask whatever you want.
And I'll also add to that, like your guys' dev diary that you release on Medium is awesome to read, and it like gives everyone a little bit of background into the development process. So if anyone hasn't seen their Medium page and the articles that are there, I would check that out as well, especially if you're a developer. Okay, so then just a question on the game releases. Are you guys intending on, is it just going to be like PC, or are you intending to be on mobile, or is it different for the different games that you'll release?
For now, the game Gushi Force will come out only on mobile devices, both on iOS and Android at launch. But we are looking forward to implement the game also on other platforms in the future.
Okay, that's great. I know a lot of the people in the Algo and gaming ecosystem prefer mobile, so that's great to hear. So I think last question I had is just, what do you guys see as the ultimate end goal of your project in terms of like having all the games ready? Is it going to be like sort of like a metaverse with all the games, or like what are the plans around that?
Yeah, the primary objective is to create a universe where people can enjoy and create stories. Our focus, the focus of our project, as I think is apparent from what Lorenzo explained, is world building and lore. And we want to create something, and I think this is something, we think that this is something that is missing from other NFT projects like this. And the real focus we are putting on it is really important to grant a long-term life for our ecosystem of games. And yeah, it's something that we want to do to support and give feedback to our players, our future players. And we think that our world is so rich and so complex that maybe this will spawn the imagination of our fans that will create maybe stories inside our games.
Yeah, and I will also add that coherency is one of the key terms for our team. So we aim to create an ecosystem that is coherent in very different different aspects of it. So gameplay wise, lore wise, and as Marcos explained in the beginning, our like biggest focus is to create something enjoyable for different kind of players. So hardcore gamers, casual gamers, collectors, and such. So our main focus is that create something that is coherent and enjoyable for the vast majority of players.
Yeah, it sounds amazing. I like the idea of eventually the gamers being able to like shape the lore and the games through various arenas and stuff like that. And like I think that's a great way to go about it. So before we end the AMA, I just wanted to check, GushiLand, is there anything else you want to say to the community, or anything else you want to talk about before we finish up?
The first thing that comes in mind is to I invite everyone interested in the project to follow us on our channels. So like on Instagram, on Discord and Twitter, which are our most active channels. There we like almost daily we post and publish news and advancements on the project, both lore-wise, visual-wise, and development-wise. So these are our channel, and like where we can speak and explain to our followers what we are working on. Because behind the scenes we are working a lot. We are a team of actually 12 people, and everyone with their skills and their experience. And we are creating something very big, and it's becoming very real. So we are very proud of that. And we cannot wait to show everything to our followers, which are following us and giving us so much joy and so much hope to go along with this project.
Yeah, and I wanted just to add something, a little surprise, also for us. Algorand Foundation granted us an award to finance our project. And to give a little backstory on how this happened, Algorand, we contacted Algorand in May of this year, and we pitched our environment, our GushiLand environment, ecosystem, our Gushi works, our lore, our world building, and specifically to PG. And who fell in love with the story and the innovation we want to create in the crypto world. And we want to introduce, of course, into the Algorand network.
Congrats for that. That's amazing. And we're like obviously super glad that you guys chose Algorand, and I'm sure PG is too. Okay, so I think that brings us to the end of this AMA. Thank you so much, Marco and Lorenzo, for taking the time to speak to us and answer all the questions. It's been incredibly insightful, and we've learned so much about the GushiLand ecosystem. We look forward to being able to have a follow-up AMA, hopefully in November, to discuss the gameplay. But just once again, thanks so much. We truly appreciate your time.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you for having us here. And yes, we look forward to speak again here and talk to you about a little bit more about gameplay and new advancements, new innovations and such.